Junkerqueen gameplay trailer for Overwatch 2. So I'm assuming this is going to have some like POV in it. I want to see. So for those who haven't seen her kit, this is going to be the Junkerqueen kit. So she's got a scattergun / a pump action shotgun, which is her regular gun. Jagged blade, which is her passive. Quick melee wounds enemies, dealing damage over time. So her melee attack does 30 damage, I think. Maybe it does a little more. But it also starts the bleed effect. And you can also throw the blade. I don't know why it doesn't say, like, when you pull it back, you bleed people, plus you can hog hook them, basically. But I'm sure we'll see that in the trailer. Commanding shout. Now, this is the big one that we hadn't seen a whole lot of beforehand, like numbers-wise. Look at this. This is so powerful. Commanding shout increases health by 200 and nearby allies' health by 100. She, like, you know, like Baptiste's regenerative burst? She literally has regenerative burst for herself and her teammates. A tank has healing for her teammates. That is wild. Put that on top of increased movement speed by 300%. Think about it this way. So it's Torb. Torb can't heal his teammates. Torb can't even heal. He just gives himself armor. But basically, chat, you could literally, like, if you Lucio speed in, right? Like, I don't think they'll stack, right? If you Lucio speed boost into the team, like the enemy team, get there, right? Like, you know how speed boost runs out, right? Like, you have to run all the way there. Running all the way there. Like, you get there, run out of speed. Guess what? Then she pops her speed, and then everyone's zooming again. Like, dude, where are you gonna go? Like, you think you're gonna run away now? Like, you're not going nowhere. You know what I mean? Carnage swings axe to wound all enemies in front of you, dealing damage over time. So basically, she just has a big swing. We'll see that in a minute. Rampage, charge forward, wounding enemies, dealing damage over time, and preventing them from being healed. So getting anti-healed. I think that this ultimate sucks other than the anti-heal. Like, it looks terrible and useless other than the anti-heal, because, like, there's, like, a charge up time, and then you, like, charge forward. It's like Rhine charge. Like, do you know what happens when you Rhine charge into an enemy team? You just blow up. Adrenaline rush, heal from all damage over time dealt by wounds. That's fucking sick. All right, let's see the gameplay trailer. Ready? Let's go. I'm gonna move myself so you guys can see, like, pretty much everything.
Listen up, you wretched scum! You try to wreak havoc and chaos. You may even try to challenge my reign. But this is Junkertown. And here, there is no mercy. Welcome to the apocalypse. All right. That's the way. Got a little knife in ya. Bow down.
Okay, you know what, let's finish it first. We'll analyze after.
There she is. Get on it.
You're scattered, mate. Watch this. Junkerqueen. Down you go, big man. Good on ya. Ooh, should have ducked. Oi, Junkrat. All hail the Queen! Time for the big finish! You got too close, didn't ya? And I'm just getting started!
I'm a little disappointed we didn't see the ultimate POV, but okay, let's break this down. Her shotgun. Her shotgun does not look that strong. I mean, damage-wise, like, we can't really tell yet, but, like, hold on. Let me see if I can I get a pellets? That's actually a bigger spread than I thought it would be. So it looks like it has about 8 pellets. I wonder how much damage it probably does, because it doesn't look like it does a ton of damage. I wonder if it kind of works like a little bit like Roadhog shotgun, where like if you're up really close, it does a ton of damage, but to like mid-range, it doesn't do much. And I mean Roadhog's left click specifically. I think her shotgun's probably the weakest part of looking of her kit. But yeah, I think we can see on the Roadhog better. Could be, oh yeah, there's actually more. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Let's just call it 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's about probably between 14 to 16 pellets of damage that is being pumped out. Sorry, 14 to 16 pellets hitting, but I don't know how much they'll do per pellet. But it doesn't look like the shotgun's that strong. Now this is the key. This right here is the key. Like that is, if this is like a true interaction, look at how far this is. That is a massive, massive yoink. Chat, what is wrong with you guys right now? The knife looks like the fishing rod from Minecraft. You're right. It is kind of like the fishing rod from Minecraft. I think you're pretty spot on.
Bow down.
So her knife, I think, is honestly the strongest part of her kit right now. I don't know how the blade will be. Oh, there's the shout. There's the shout. So that's what it'll. So this is the AOE of the shout. I think it's pretty fair to say that's about the same size as Lucio, right? This is about the same size aura as Lucio. So that is a pretty good sized AoE shout. I'm gonna stop reading chat. Pretty good sized AoE shout. I'm looking at their feet. It doesn't. Oh, there it is. Look at. Okay, this is actually low key really important. So look at their feet. So we can confirm that in the Fox Girl trailer, right? Like the other one we saw, where their feet was like glowing green, that does indicate a speed boost, because this is the first time we've seen a speed increasing character other than Lucio, and it does give them the green feet speed. So that means the later on that other support hero gives some sort of speed increase. That is a big, big, big piece of information for the future.
Get on it.
She doesn't give them speed, though? What does that say? I'll let you read it. You tell me what that says. Moving on.
You're scattered, mate. Watch this.
So, this is a very interesting scene. That she's going to go for the slash on an echo. And they don't show it, which I'm not going to lie, I'm a little annoyed.
Junkerqueen.
This, though. Look, dude, chat. This is going to be insane. Look at this. Dude, you think Roadhog owns Ilios well? Oh my god, do I have a treat for you. Think about as well, like Lijiang Tower. Lijiang Tower has so many of these pull off the map spots. Oh my god, oh my god.
You go, big man. Good on ya.
That actually looked like a cool combo. Like you knife, so you throw the knife, shotgun, pull, shotgun. That's a pretty good range, though. Also, it looks like it comes back immediately if you kill them, which is nice. Okay, so that was actually the only first person we saw of the slash, is this right here. It kind of looks like a Reinhardt swing. Wow, am I going to be really good at this hero? I've been playing a ton of Apex recently, so I have a little bit better mechanics than I used to have. Interesting. Now this I'm still not sold on. This ultimate I'm still not sold on. Like, unless this does... So if this kind of works like Orissa's spinny spear and eats ults and shit, then this will be really good. But if this is you're vulnerable during this the whole time, dude, like you're just gonna get fucking two-shot. You're just gonna get rolled.
Got too close, didn't ya?
Yeah, you anti-heal them, but people don't stack up like this in a game. Like, hold on. There it is. So, like, people don't stack like this. It's very rare people stack like this. You'll get, like, 2. Also, wait a minute. It's Junkertown at night. So, I actually talked about this at the start of the stream. I hope that in the next beta, we start to see, like, other map variants. Like, we saw, like, Oasis at night, etc. Nighttime Junkertown. Maybe, like, a nighttime Numbani. You know what I mean? Like, see different, daytime and nighttime cycles for maps. That could be kind of nice for the next beta, especially if they expand the map pool and so there's more maps to play.
You got too close, didn't ya? And I'm just getting started.
Overall, though, pretty good. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Junkerqueen. The content doesn't end there. There's still more. A design fit for royalty, an inside look to Her Majesty the Junkerqueen. Junkerqueen joins Overwatch 2 rosters, the newest tank here with a big axe and even bigger ideas, as we saw in the Wasteland cinematic. If you haven't seen the cinematic, go see that. The Scrapyard's Sovereign is fierce, resourceful, and no strangers to survival, and now she come to claim her rightful throne. Junkerqueen's playstyle and kit were built from her pre-existing Overwatch lore. The Junkertown map showcases her tough, almost brutal personality and wanted her abilities to match that energy. I kind of like that. I like that phrasing, to match that energy. You know, this is like a very humanistic type of thing. Like, this isn't like Blizzard corporate. Like, this is like a very humanistic type of wording. This type of design constructed a character's kit to match their established identity. Is called top-down design. Junkerqueen was in Overwatch's narrative well before we had a design for her kit, which meant she had big community expectations resting on her stately shoulders. Now, as she steps out of the lore and into the light, let's jump into the design of her kit and check out how she is expected to play. Adrenaline Rush and Scattergun. Okay, these are the big ones. Adrenaline Rush is the cornerstone of Junkerqueen's identity as a tank. The passive ability heals her for all damage over time dealt by wounds. So when you throw her knife through people, that starts a healing effect. That is pretty strong. Many of her abilities apply wounds that are caused by enemies to slowly drain health. This lifesteal passive adds to her survivability and aggression. Pushing the boundaries of brawling, Junkerqueen feels more like a berserker tank whose survivability is directly connected to how many enemies she's wounding. I actually think about like a Genji or a Tracer that's on you when it's kind of tough to shoot them. You just go shink, you know? And you start the bleed and they start getting bleeding and you start healing. All of Junkerqueen's abilities encourage her to get up close and personal with her enemies, and we equipped her with a primary fire that fits her playstyle, Scattergun. It's a pump action shotgun with a small spread that makes it extra scary at short range. Adrenaline Rush and Scattergun enable her to play into enemies while giving her the survivability she needs to make space for her team and fulfilling the tank role. Okay. Carnage. Junkerqueen's character has always been depicted with an axe, so that was the starting point of her design. Carnage consists of a big sweeping swing that wounds all enemies in front of her, dealing damage to them over time and activating her Adrenaline Rush. So I'm assuming this is very much like Rhine Swing, so you can hit multiple people. Junkerqueen refers to her axe as Carnage, further inspiring the importance of her ability in the kit. We thought her axe might work as her primary weapon, but historically, making a melee hero in Overwatch has to come with its own set of challenges. What you trying to say? You telling me you don't know how to balance Rhine? I told you how to do it. You just don't listen to me. For example, sorry, I got a little too meta there for a second. For example, Genji's Dragon Blade used to be his primary weapon, but he didn't translate well in game in the end. It was transformed into the powerful ultimate players know today. We want to make Junkerqueen take Junkerqueen down to a similar path, so we incorporated her axe into this ability. The original iteration of Carnage let her throw her axe following the initial swing before recalling it back to herself with a magnetic gauntlet. However, when implemented, the practice of throwing her axe felt wrong. It led to a rigid playstyle that didn't allow for the use of her other axe-based abilities while her wound was out of hand. While her weapon was out of hand, sorry. So the throw was swapped to a slash with a wound effect. The concept of throwing and recalling her weapon eventually led to her next ability, Jagged Blade. Jagged Blade is Junkerqueen's secondary fire that comes with both active and passive abilities. The active ability triggers when you press secondary fire, causing her to throw the knife in her offhand. Her knife, which the Queen calls Gracie, applies a wound that damages over time and heals and lands a direct... Damage over time if she lands a direct hit on an enemy. Her magnetic gauntlet can recall the knife by reactivating secondary fire. Okay, so I was under the impression that if you threw it behind them and then you recalled it and it hit everybody, you started wounds on all of them. But it says land direct hit. So I wonder if that only means if like you impaled them. Recalling Gracie will strike enemy that has been... Gracie will pull any enemy that has been directly hit. So be wary of your surroundings. If you're struck by Gracie, you're headed straight for the Queen. Jagged Blade isn't the first time the team has experimented with throwing a weapon. When Reinhardt was first prototyped, he's able to throw his hammer into the enemy team, an ability that was cool in theory, but awkward in practice, requiring him to go pick up his hammer to defend his team anytime he threw it. Imagine if you had to play fetch with your hammer. You threw it and had to go get it. That would be so stupid. Despite not having to make it into Reinhardt's final kit, this prototype ability heavily inspired Jagged Blade, throwing a weapon that makes more sense for Junkerqueen. So Reinhardt influences Junkerqueen's design. Interesting. Who possesses a special magnetic gauntlet and that she can use to pull things around her. We didn't want the gauntlet to make her feel too magey or similar to Sigma, who can lift people up and throw them around. Instead, Junkerqueen uses her magnetic powers to control her axe and knife to be vicious and serve brutal ends. To make her more intimidating up close, Jagged Blade's passive ability wounds enemies when using quick melee. When the knife is in her hands, the ability that applies wounds to all lifesteal abilities. So I wonder if this doesn't work if you throw the knife. Does she like punch? This is going to be the big make or break. Commanding Shout. To enhance her tankiness, Junkerqueen is equipped with a Commanding Shout, an ability that heightens her own survivability while also helping her teammates around her, increasing the health and movement speed of both herself and nearby allies. As the first team movement buff since Lucio, Commanding Shout helps Junkerqueen close the gap between her and the enemy team. Her ability to close distance was intentionally designed as a movement speed buff rather than something sneaky like a short dash or teleport, because this helps reinforce her nature as someone who sprints headfirst into battle. She brute forces her way through her opposition with a relentless aggression that demands space. It furthers her effectiveness to take charge and lead her team into battle through tight choke points and cut off of flanking enemies. Like Commanding Shout, Junkerqueen's ultimate ability also charges into the fray. It's crazy how deep they've thought with like their lore plus like the characters' abilities. Like they make sure the lore ties into everything based on the hero, and that is a really tough thing to do. Rampage is Junkerqueen's ultimate. It charges forward, grievously wounds enemies, and prevents them from healing. It's their first ability since Ana's Biotic Grenade to apply an anti-heal. Paired with Adrenaline Rush, Rampage is one of Junkerqueen's strongest survivable assets. It applies a deadly wound to anyone in its path, giving her potential to restore significant amount of health with Adrenaline Rush, depending on the number of wounds she manages to apply. Initially, her ultimate was a spinning whirlwind type of ability, but when we wanted to incorporate her magnetic gauntlet into the ultimate ability, we wanted it to feel elegant or magic. We didn't want it to feel elegant or magic infused either, because it didn't align well conceptually with her character. So we tried to push the magnetic gauntlet to its limits. Rampage charges her gauntlet and creates a cloud with her knife and axe around her and charges into the enemy team in a display of raw, visceral power she possesses as a queen. A new queen born to rule. Junkerqueen was built for Overwatch 2 5v5 playing field. She has an unparalleled ability to claim space. Interesting. and she is terrifying to deal with up close. She's brawly, towing the line of a berserker tank, and we were cognizant of that in the new tank paradigm. Tanks play more aggressively in Overwatch 2, and Junkerqueen is certainly no exception. In fact, she'd consider herself the rule. We're excited to see players rampage through the upcoming beta with our newest tank. That is very, very interesting. It's actually very commendable how much they take their lore into character design as well. But it seems that Junkerqueen is based off of Ryan in some ways, so I think you'll definitely see me play quite a bit of Junkerqueen.